it's me, Coco, again, and doing a little paint with me, because I really wanted to do a paint with me for you guys, because, you know, these are one of my favorite art videos to watch on YouTube, and they're really fun to watch and, like, relaxing to watch, so I wanted to do one of me doing a portrait. So yeah, as you can see, I'm setting up my surface. I'm putting on tape on the edges of my paper, so that way we can have a little nice white border in the end of this painting video. So yeah, but yeah, recently I've been doing portraits because they're like really fun to do, and I really want to do that realistic kind of impressionist kind of portrait, but right now they're kind of cartoony. But yeah, trying to fix that and trying to improve that over summer break and make more videos. Anyways, I'm setting up my paint palette. I'm using yellow ochre, crimson red, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and white. That is basic color theory for portrait painting. If you don't know, it's just easier to paint portraits with that, and it kind of like activates your brain, like teaches you a little bit of color theory, which is kind of fun. But yeah, as you can see, I'm mixing a color and now starting out with the forehead. Usually when I'm starting my portraits, I do a really quick like block, like I do a little quick wash of acrylic, which is like blocking out the colors, and then just blocking out the colors, trying to find out where everything is, and then you on the second layer you do details and make it obviously a little bit more realistic and not make it look flat, if you get what I'm trying to say. So that's just kind of the portrait painting. But as you can see on the side, I'm doing kind of like the shadow area, which is like a little bit of a lightish burnt sienna, and then other parts where the shadows are like on the side of the nose. I will do that. So I'm gonna let you guys watch this little blocking out portion of me doing acrylic wash, and yeah, I'll see you guys when I'm doing the detail part, like the second layer. Okay, so now I'm doing more so of the second layer, adding more shadow, adding more depth to the shadows, and adding more depth to the skin. When I'm doing this, I like to zoom into my reference photo and look at where there's like red, a little bit more red in the photo, a little bit more white, a little bit more of like a tint of yellow, or like yellow ochre, I guess. So that way I could obviously make the most exact shade, like trying to make it the most exact shade of whatever the shade is, and trying to make it again as realistic as possible. But yeah, I really like this kind of phase in the painting. It's fun, and specifically this painting, I really like this portion I'm doing, and I really like the way I kept it the first time. And then the second day when I came back to do it, I rendered it a little bit more, and I didn't like it because now it's looking a little bit more cartoony. I kind of should have left it like that, but you know, it happens. Because when I'm finished with it, you can see that I didn't emphasize the shadow that much, and it's like a little bit of shadow, even though in the photo there's a whole lot of shadow. So that's a little mistake I did. But yeah, as you can see, I'm doing that. I'm doing a little bit of the neck area where there's a little bit of a shadow in the left side. But yeah, just rendering it, adding little places, adding dark spaces where there's a little bit more like structure to her face. As realistic as possible. So yeah. Also, ignore my very messy paint palette. It's impossible to take off paint off of a plastic palette. Yeah, this is impossible. So it was impossible for me to clean it. I was going to clean it before this video, but I just couldn't because it's paint was stuck on there. I've seen that when I have more layers of paint on my palette, it's way easier to just like peel it off. So as you can see, when I'm doing it the second day, like here, I have a clean palette because the paint has more layers on it. I don't know, it's a weird thing. But yeah, again, it's a new day, as you can see, because I have a fresh new palette, and it's still kind of dirty, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. You know, I feel like a messy palette is a messy palette, but I like a clean palette, but yeah, that's me doing it again. The same thing. The great thing about portraits is that I don't have to use a lot of like red, yellow, burnt umber, burnt sienna because I just need a little bit of it usually. I just need a whole lot of white. And then I need like less colors, if you get what I'm saying. I just use a little bit of it at a time because, if I take too much red, then the skin tone is a lot more red. And if I take a lot of yellow, then the skin tone's a little bit more yellow and tan and not like a realistic skin tone. But yeah, as you can see now, I'm doing the eyes. Her eyes are like a brown, green, hazel kind of thing. So I'm doing a base layer like that, like a wash of acrylic again. The base layer is just a great way to just kind of get started with everything. And I'm also doing the hair, which is brown hair. And usually in brown hair, I do use black. But when there's like blonde hair or like, something that's not like a dark hair color, then I don't find the need of using black. I don't use black at all in the eye or in any part of the portrait. I just use it if the hair is a dark color or I want to paint the background black or something. I don't use black on, but I keep it around if I'm doing a dark hair color. So as you can see, now I'm adding more depth to the lips and the eyes, and you'll see me doing the hair a little later. The hair, I like to take it like, I see some people doing it strand by strand, but I kind of take it strand by strand. Like, what I do is I just block it in all, and I don't pay too much attention to the hair because I feel like the hair doesn't need that much attention. I feel like the face obviously does, and her hair is like in a ponytail, so it's not obviously like the main point of the painting. It's all about the face. So that's why I don't do so much to the hair again, only if there's like a whole lot of it. So I just block it out. So as you can see now, I'm doing the neck. The neck is like pretty easy. I just kind of use the old skin tones that I've used in the face, just mix those kind of skin tones and add it, and just block out the colors. And now I'm doing her little outfits, a vest with a collar t-shirt. I also use black if I'm doing any clothing too, so that's another reason I use black in portraits. I try not to put black in anything. Also, like if I'm painting landscapes or anything, because if you don't know, but black is not a very common color to find in life generally. Like a solid jet black, it's not really a natural color, and you won't find it a lot in life. I mean, even jet black hair, like my hair, is not really black. It's more so a very, very, very dark brown. But again, just a little bit of black adds a little something. So yeah. But again, I'm just rendering and adding some details. I also want to say like yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, just rendering, adding details. As you can see, I'm slowly getting rid of the shadow on the left, which is kind of sad because I kind of like the shadow, but it kind of looks like the shadows you kind of see in cartoony work. Which, by the way, no offense to cartoony work, I love it, but I didn't want it to look cartoony. That was not my goal. So as you can see, I'm slowly getting rid of the shadow during in the process and adding details to the hair. Yeah. I hate painting lips, by the way. I hate painting lips. I think it's so boring and horrible because you have to draw them in a certain shape, and it's like, why? Why would you do that? Because it's kind of a proportion of the face, and it's a major proportion of the face, because if you don't draw it right or paint it right, then it look the person really. So that's like the hard thing about lips, and it's super boring to paint because I don't know how to paint it. I'm pretty sure if I improve more at it, I'll paint it a little bit better, but I don't really like painting it. It's not really fun. They're my least process. Also, as you can see, I did the background, which is gray. I'm kind of toning. I did a gray tone so that way the blue will look a little bit more gray toned. So yeah, just adding a little bit of gray so that way I don't so that way painting the blue will be a little easier. And as you can see, I also did the white just a few seconds ago. White is a very hard color to paint, if I do say so myself, because you have to add gray sometimes or blue or like other colors in order to make it not look like a flat block of white. So that's kind of like annoying thing about white. Also, people say like you can't find white in nature really, and I kind of agree with that. So that's why white I don't add a whole solid block of white in my paintings. But I mean, you will find it more in nature than you will find in black. Than you'll find black. And I'm adding a little bit of gray to the black, and again rendering the face and just trying to make it look not flat and that, but it looks a little bit flat. I feel like now that I've seen the end process, it's a little bit flat, and I'm trying to improve that. In my paintings, like this one is a little flat, which I kind of don't like, but you know what? I'm fine with it. Um, yeah, and we're losing that shadow now. Yep. Yeah, I really like this. And now you can see I'm mixing a light blue color. I really like the light blue. I think it made the painting pop a little bit more because everything is kind of like black and white. Like her outfit's black and white, and um, everything is just like black and white. So I thought the blue just added a nice kind of like, I guess, summer kind of pop. I really like the shade of blue. So yeah, adding that, and the gray really nicely peeked through. So I added a little bit of a gray tint, and it didn't look overly bright. I also added a little bit of gray into the mix, but the gray base layer really helped. But yeah, now as you can see, I'm adding more like lighter shades of brown to the hair, so that way it looks like there's like a strand or something in there. And just again, as you can see, I did bring that shadow back, but then again, I just added a little bit more light shades over it. Yeah, but I did have a little bit of that shadow, but it's not as much as it was in like the reference picture. There was a whole solid shadow in the reference picture. But yeah, just adding the final details. I'm like almost done with this painting, which is exciting. That's pretty exciting. And now we're gonna do the satisfying tape peel. This is the most favorite part of mine. As you can see on the top, there's a little bit of gray, but I fixed that. But I love doing that. Now I'm adding a jelly and some highlights that I can't do usually with paint because it adds like this block of paint. So I like the jelly roll pen I use. And there you go. That's the final little reveal.